Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path, which is located in Forest City, North Carolina. For today, I'm going to teach you how to make a fun new pair of hoop earrings, and you'll be learning a stitch called brick stitch. I came up with these earrings because I wanted a fun pair of earrings to wear for the 4th of July, which is coming up here in America in just a few weeks, and it's a big holiday for us. So I needed some cute new earrings, and so that's why I came up with this project. You can do any color that you want. We've got the 4 colorways that'll be, I'll show you here in just a few minutes, that I've come up with. And there's some really, wonderful designs that you can come up with for these earrings, and they're just a lot of fun. But what I'm going to be using is a 1.25-inch endless hoop. Now these are just the regular hoop earrings, and I'll show you those here in a minute. But you'll need 1 pair of those. I'm going to be using 2 colors of a size 11 Delica. Now with the Delicas, you're going to need about 106, 107 of each color of those. I'm also using a size 15 seed bead, as well as 2 8mm bicones, 4 6mm bicones, and 4 4mm bicones. I'm going to use a 6-pound Fireline. It's going to take about 1.5 yards for each earring, and I'm going to be using 1 size 12 beading needle. So go ahead and get your materials together and we'll get started. So here's the earrings that I'm going to be teaching you how to make today. And these are the 4 colorways that I've come up for this week. This is a red, white, and blue pair that I made for the 4th of July. This is blue and gunmetal. I thought this would be great to wear with denim. I actually used Montana and denim blue in my crystals. I thought these were wonderful for summer. This is turquoise and cream with turquoise AA, sand opal AA, and a light Colorado topaz. And then this is the pair I'm actually going to show you today, the colorway. This is black and plated palladium with jet and gunmetal and silver for the crystals. So basically, to get started, let me put all these away for you. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need first is an endless hoop. Now, basically, when you buy the endless hoops, it's called an endless hoop because it has 1 loop on one end and then it's just straight hoop on the other end. And so what you have to do, the very first thing, is we actually have to prepare the earring to be worked with. So I'm going to take a flat nose pair of pliers. Remember, no grooves on the inside. I want to take and grab about 1/8 of an inch from the end. And I'm going to bend that wire straight up so that when I do, this is what I have. And to get started with the earring, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to clasp the ear hook. Okay, so that way it won't come apart as I work with it. Now you need to thread a needle onto 1.5 yards or 1.5 yards piece of Fireline. For this color today, I'm going to be using the smoke. You'll want to take, once you have the needle threaded, and we're going to tie the thread onto the ear hoop. Now when you tie the thread onto the ear hoop, make sure you tie on the loop side and not the actual ear part. You want to go on the loop side. And it does make a difference if you don't do it on that side. It will make a difference on the way it actually looks. So to tie it on, I'm just going to take the thread, bring it near the tail, or bring it down near the very end of the thread, and I'm going to tie it into a circle so that it ties right on the ear hook. Now I normally put about 2 to 3 double knots in it just to make sure it stays. And I don't trim off the thread for a while. I like to use it to kind of hold down as I work. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding beads here. It's going to be color A, what I call color A of the Delicas, around the hoop. Now when you do the beads, you want the beads to lay vertical up against the hoop and not parallel to it. And my best suggestion to you, your first row has 52 color A Delicas. I would go ahead and count out my 52 and put them in a little pile, so that way you know when you're finished with the row, so you won't have to keep counting. The first thing I'm going to do is pick up 2 Delicas, color A, and I'm going to drop them all the way down to the hoop. I'm going to stick the needle through the hoop, and then I'm going to come back through the second color A that I put on. So I'm going to come through the color A, go through it just like this. So if you've got them dropped down, get my thread out here. If you got them dropped down just like this, you're basically going to grab a hold of that second bead and just come right through it just like this. So that my connection between the 2 beads is here, and then this is the working thread. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that so that when I do, it will lay just like this on the base. Now the first 2 as they lay are going to be kind of wonky. So to fix that, I'm going to go through the first bead I just threaded on. And I always hold my beads to keep them nice and tight. Then I'm going to come up through the second one that I added, so that when I pull, those beads now lay straight up and down on the hoop. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit more for you. Okay, so I'm going to go around the whole thing. I'm ready to start now. I'm going to pick up 1 color A. I'm going to let it drop all the way down. I'm going to stick the needle through the hoop, and then I'm going to grab a hold of that bead I just added, and I'm going to go through the bead. Pull it. When you pull it, it goes right next to the beads, the 2 beads you had added previously. Pick up 1 bead. Let it drop all the way down. Stick the needle through the hoop, and then grab a hold of your bead and go right through that bead and pull. So that when you pull, just like that. Now I'm going to show you one more time. Pick up 1 bead, let it drop all the way down, stick the needle through the hoop, and then go through the bead you just added and pull. And you're going to go around the whole hoop, adding 52 total color A Delicas. When you finish going around the hoop with your color A's, this is what it should look like. Now to get into position to add our color B's, your thread should be coming out of bead number 52. I'm going to come down through bead number 51. And then up through the very next A, which is bead number 50. Now, if you look, and I'm going to try and zoom in and see if I can get a little better picture for you. If you look, in between each bead is what I call a thread bridge. So it's here, here, here. All of these places are thread bridges starting at the beginning. Each bridge connects 1 bead to the very next bead. Now for this next row, you're not going to be going through any beads or any A's. You're only going under the thread bridges between the A's. So I'm going to pick up 2 B's. I'm coming out of bead number 50. I'm going to skip the thread bridge in between it and 49. And I'm going to go under the thread bridge between 49 and 48. So I'm going to skip one bridge and go right under the very next bridge. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. I'm going to go through the second bead I just added, which is this one here. And then, just like I did at the top, see when you pull it, the first one sits a little wonky. So to get that to sit right, I'm going to come down through that bead. And then back up through that second bead. And I always keep my fingers on them when I pull, so it'll keep it nice and tight. So that now they both sit straight, and that's exactly what we want. I'm going to pick up one B. I'm not skipping any thread bridges anymore. I only did that on the first one. I'm going to come under the very next thread bridge here. And I'm going to come right up through the bead I just added. Pick up one B. I'm going to go under the very next thread bridge. Take the needle and go up through that one bead. Okay, one more time. Pick up one B. I'm going to come under the very next thread bridge. And go up through the bead I just added. Now, just as you did the color A's, I suggest you go ahead and count out your color B's. You're going to have 48 B's, so if you go ahead and count those out, you'll know when to stop. So keep continuing until you have 48 color B added along the edge of your A's. Once you've gone all the way around with your B's, this is what it should look like. And you can see the two ends are staggered, and that's completely what you want. Now, I forgot to mention when you added the A's, we leave this bit of space here for the actual earlobe. This will be what hangs on the earlobe, so you don't want to completely fill it up, or you won't have anywhere to actually put your ear. So, when you finish with your beads, you're ready for your size 15 seed bead embellishments. Now, when I pick out a 15, I want to pick out a color that will complement my piece, but will also kind of stand out from the color that I just used. So I'm going to use a black 15. I'm coming out of bead number 48. That's the last B that I put on. I'm going to pick up two, and let me actually move my 15s here so I can get to them easier. I'm going to pick up two 15s, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go down through bead number 47. Now, when you go through it, just go through bead number 47. Don't go through the beads below it. We're only going to work with the B's here on the top. So I'm going to go down through 47 so that my two little 15s sit side by side just like that along the top. Now I'm going to come up through the next B, which is number 46. I'm going to pick up two 15s, and I'm going to go down through the next B. Now remember, when you go down through the bead, don't go through the bottom. Just go through the beads there on the top. I'm going to go down through this one, and then up through the very next B in that row. I'm going to pick up two 15s, go down through the next B. I'm not skipping anything. I'm going through the very next one and then up through the very next one. And I'm going to do this until I have 8 sets of embellishments. So far I have 3. This will be 4. 5. This is 6. Seven. And finally, your 8th set. Okay, so starting back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sets. Okay, I'm going to come up through the next bead. And when I come out, if I count backwards, or I count this way, I'm going to be exiting out a bead number 32. The beads here are going down in number. The beads here are going up in number. I'm coming out of bead number 32, and I'm ready to start actually adding some of my crystal embellishments. So I'm going to pick up a size 15 seed bead, a 4mm bicone, and a size 15 seed bead. I'm going to let these beads drop all the way down to the hoop. I'm going to skip the last 15. I'm going to go through the 4mm, the 15, and I'm going to pull this back so you can see it. Right now, I'm coming out of bead number 32. So I'm going to go down through bead number 33, which is the one right next to it, which is the one that I just finished the embellishment on. And I'm going to see if it'll let me zoom in just a little bit more here. Nope, that's about as far as it'll go. There we go. But see, I was coming out of that bead there. I picked up my ones, and I'm coming right down through the one previous to it here. Pull. Your 4mm will sit like that. Come up through the very same bead you were just coming out of, which was the bead 32. I'm going to pick up 2 15s. I'm going to come down to the very next bead, which will be bead 31. Come up through the next one. This will be bead number 30. I'm going to pick up one color B, one 6mm, and one size 15. I'm going to let those drop all the way down. I'm going to skip the 15. I'm going to come down through the 6mm, the color B, and I'm going to go through the next B, which is bead number 29. So I'm coming out of 30, and I'm going to come through 29. Come up through the next one, which is bead 28. I'm going to pick up 2 15s. I'm going to come through the next B, which is bead number 27. Come up through the next, which is B26. Now I'm to the middle, so I'm going to pick up a color B, one 8mm, and a color B. I'm going to let those drop all the way down. I'm skipping the color B, and I'm coming back through the 8, the B, and then down through the next B, which will be bead number 25. So I'm coming out of 26, going down through 25. Pull. Coming through the next one, which is bead 24. Pick up 2 B's. Come through the next one, which is bead 23. Okay, go through bead 22. I'm going to pick up 1 B, 1 6mm, and 1 15. Let those drop down. Skip the 15, go back through the 6, the color B, and then through the next B, which is bead number 21. Going to come up through the next, which is bead 20. I'm going to pick up 2 15s, come through the next one, which is bead 19. Come up through the next, which is bead 18. I'm going to pick up a 15, a 4mm, and a 15. I'm going to let these drop all the way down. Skip the 15, go through the 4, the 15, and I'm going to come back and go through bead 19 on the base, which is the one that I just went through to add my 2 15s here. I'm going to go back up through bead 18, which is the one I just went through to add my 4mm. I'm going to pick up 2 15s, come down to the very next B, and I'm going to continue the rest of the way, coming up through a B, adding 2 15s, and coming through the next B. We've added all our crystal embellishments that we add, so the rest of the way is just adding our little size 15 seed bead embellishments the rest of the way over our color B's. Now when you add your last set of 15s, then you'll be ready to tie the thread off. This is the easiest way I found to do this instead of having to stitch all the way back down to the bottom. So what we're going to do is you want to go ahead and I do just like 1 or 2 little half hitch knots. So I'm going to go under a thread bridge right next to where I'm exiting, leave myself a little loop, go through the loop and pull. And I'm just going to stitch through just these last few beads here and just put a little knot at each thread bridge. And then I stitch through the beads a couple of times before I trim off the thread. So it's just like this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim the tail off. Do not throw the tail thread away. Keep it on your needle. Now, once you do this, this is what your hoop should look like thus far. What we're ready to do now is add our seed bead embellishments here to the bottom, like is on this finished one, so that it gives it a little more definition instead of just beads dangling off as such. So to get started, you're going to take your thread on one color B, and I want you to center it on your thread. Center it on that extra thread you've got there, and go back through the same B and pull that thread so that becomes our stop bead now. We do this because what we're going to do so that it ends up nice and even and pretty is we're going to take our thread and you want to thread it through the color B right below your 8mm. So that now we've got our stop bead on here. We're going to work one side of the embellishments, tie that side off, then we're going to put our needle on the other end and do the same thing on the other side. This works out a little bit better as far as I'm concerned. But the first thing we're going to do on this side, I'm going to work this side first, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so that way you'll be able to see it better. Let me get it so it won't be so blurry or anything like that. I'm going to pick up 11 size 15 seed beads. So I've got my 11 size 15 seed beads, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through the color B that is directly above my 8mm. So I'm going to come through this one right here. I'm going to stick it through so you can see it. I'm going through the actual one on the base, so that when I pull, those 11 seeds will sit on the side of the 8mm. So now we're going to come through the next B, 15, 15B, and then up through the next B. So I'm basically following the thread path. I'm going to come through the B and the 15, through the 15 and the B, and then up through, or down through, I'm sorry, the very next B. And this is going to be the B right below our 6mm. You're going to pick up 8 15s. And you're going to go through the 15 directly below the 6mm. So that looks just like this. I'm going to pick up 8 more. And I'm going to come through the B, the next B there, right below the 6mm, or right above it the way you're seeing it, and pull. So that now the 6mm is surrounded by my 15s. Now I'm going to come up, or I'm going to go through the B and the 15, through the 15 and the B, right next to it, and then up through, or through the 15, or I'm sorry, the B and the 15 right after the 4mm. I'm going to pick up 5 15s, and I'm going to work back towards the 8mm, and I'm going to go through the 15 right below the 4mm. I'm going to pick up 2 15s. Starting from the base, I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to come up through the 4th 15 that is beside this 6mm here, just through that 4th seed bead. I'm going to pull, and now I'm going to pick up 1 15, and I'm going to come through the 15 and the color B that is right directly next to my 4mm. And I'm going to pull. And so that connects my 4mm and my 6mm at a good connection. So I'm going to come up through a B, the very next B. Try not to go through the 15, just go through the B. Through the next B, and I'm working back towards the center here. And then when I come up through the next B, I'm going to go ahead and go through 5 of the size 15 seed beads here on the side of the 8mm. You want to go through all 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've gone through 4 there. And then one more would be my 5th one. So I'm going through 5 of the 15s here on the side of the 6mm. I'm going to pick up 1 15, starting from the top here next to the 8mm. I'm going to count down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to come up through just that 6th size 15 seed bead here next to the 8mm. So that it connects the two together like that. And then I'm going to pick up 1 15, and I'm going to go down through the very first bead that I was coming out of here, which was bead number 5 of that side, so that when I pull, I have a little circle of 4 that connects my 6 and my 8 together. Now you want to go through and reinforce this a couple of times by going back through those beads again. 3 to 4 times is going to be at the most you'll be able to get through because of the thread passes. I normally do 2 to 3. And this is just going to give us a good strong connection between those beads. Now when I come up, I'm going to go ahead and tie this thread off. So I'm going to go a bit in between the thread, leave myself a little loop, stick the needle through the loop, and pull. I'm going to go through the bead. I'm going to do the same thing, make myself a little knot there, and then when I go down, I'm going to try and go down through my 15s to get back to the base. And once you do that, once you've gone all the way back up to the base here, use your cutters and just go ahead and cut that side off. And we're going to take the stop bead off of this side. So just pull it We're going to thread the needle on this side and do the same thing on this side as we did on the previous 11 side. The size 15 seed beads. You're going to come through the color B right above the 8mm on that side. Go through a B and a 15. A 15 and a B. And then through the next B. We're going to pick up 8 15s. And go through the 15 right below the 6mm. Pick up 8 15s. And you're going to come through the color B right above that 6mm. I'm going to go through a B and a 15. Sometimes I can get through them both at once and then sometimes I can't. I'm going to come through a 15 and a B. And then up through or through a B and a 15. And that B and 15 will be on the other side of this 4mm. I'm going to pick up 5 15s. I'm going to work back towards the center, so I'm going to go through the 15 right below the 4mm. I'm going to pick up 2 15s. I'm going to count down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here on the side of my 6mm. And I'm going to go through just that 4th 15. Pick up 1 15. And I'm going to come through the 15 and the B right here next to the 4mm. So that finish out the connection between the 4 and the 6. So I'm going to come up through a B, and then through the B, and 5 of your 15s here on this side. So through the B, through the B, and then when I come through the B here, I'm going to continue on through 5 of my 15s there next to the 6mm. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So go through 5 of those. Pick up 1 15. This side here of my 8mm, I'm going to count down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to come back up through just that 6th size 15 and pull, and then I'm going to pick up 1 15 and I'm going to come down through the 15 I was just coming out of on the previous side. And now you will want to reinforce the loop a couple of times and tie this side off. Once you finish with the first earring, go ahead and repeat all the steps to do the second earring, and then you'll have a beautiful new pair of earrings to wear You can really wear these dressed up, or, you know, have fun with them and wear them with a t-shirt, you know, red, white, and blue t-shirt for the 4th of July. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and this new project. So I hope you guys enjoyed the project. I love these new earrings. I will get a lot of wear out of these, and I think they'll be so fun just to make in all different colors. We do have the materials for this that you can purchase on our Etsy site, or you can also purchase a kit for one of the 4 colorways. If you get the kit this week, it will have a disc in it because the pattern is 20 pages. It's not, you know, I went step by step telling you through the video just as I did through the pattern. So it's not that it's super hard, but the pictures, I made good size pictures so that you could see actually where the needle was in the whole 9 yards. You can also purchase just the pattern that will email to you through Etsy also, and again, that's 20 pages. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video this week, and be sure and come back next week for another fun new project. Hope you guys have a great one. Bye-bye.